If you want to look a certain way or come across a certain way, then be that way. It's that simple. The reason why I hate social media. Okay, so I guess we'll start by how I got introduced to sort of the hatred of social media. I wouldn't say hatred, that's a strong word. Just disliked it, was against the idea sort of from the beginning. And I feel like my point was proven, my opinion was proven by sort of my peers and seeing what they were doing and what it was doing to them and how they were turning out. I just didn't like it. But I moved here when I was 16. I moved as a model with 4 models at the time. Was very sort of submerged in the fashion, nightlife, modeling scene in New York City. And the nightlife, you see a lot of, especially at that specific time period in New York City, it was a lot of up and down. It was a lot of One Oak and you know, the best tables you can go to, and Leonardo DiCaprio, Saudi Arabian Prince, all of these different people, right? So that was very impressive when I was 16. I thought that was really cool. It then became very much less cool, but when I realized that soon, I should have realized it sooner, but what I'm trying to get to is that most of these people is someone I would see on Instagram first. So I would see them on Instagram, then like I would see them at the club and I'm like, oh, that's the da-da-da-da-da. And like, I would have this idea of them already in my head. I would think that I have an understanding of who that person is when I really didn't. So I would come in to the engagement with an opinion already formulated in my head. And then when I met these people, it was extremely underwhelming most of the time because of what they were showing on Instagram really was not what they were in person, right? But that's one aspect of it that I didn't really like. It was like, what's going on here? It was like, I thought these people were this way, but they're not. Another aspect I didn't like about it was self-promotion. I think my opinion on that early on was that it's tacky. It's sort of lame. It's like, oh, you're that guy trying to get yourself out there and this and that. And I had this, and I was wrong, granted, but I think I am right on certain areas of it. I think if you want to be famous or you want to sort of stand out and be a guy that someone knows, then do something that makes you stand out. Do something that makes other people talk about you, that makes magazines post about you, that makes people go take interviews of you. Don't do it yourself. So it's like we have still a regular famous guy who is famous outside of social media, has his fans already, got on social media, got the following. But we created this new breed where it's like, I didn't really do anything, but the masses on social media saw me and this is where I'm famous. And I have nothing against that. I get it. It's a brave new world. That's cool. All like thumbs up to it. And you know, for business these days you need it. But I do think it definitely creates a unique crowd that sometimes are not great human beings. There's some that are fantastic, and social media has created a ton of opportunities for a lot of people that didn't have them elsewhere. But there's also just somewhere it's like, you shouldn't have that opportunity, or like it's a waste of space. What I'm trying to say is, self-promotion is always sort of tacky. I think you can do it in a tasteful manner, or at least a manner that is authentic. If you can do self-promotion and you're being authentic, thumbs up, I agree, that's cool, do your thing, whatever you gotta do to get there. But if you're doing self-promotion and you're not being authentic, if you're editing the shit out of your pictures, or you're acting like someone you're not, then I can't stand behind that. The main reason for deleting social media and not being sort of on board is because of the first impression factor. So people will look at your social media before they meet you, and they'll judge you, they'll come up with an idea of you that they think is correct and accurate, and then they might not even meet you because they've seen your social media, and maybe they really want to meet you because they've seen your social media. But I didn't think I could get across well enough on social media at least as well as I can in person. So it was like the poor man's version of me on social media, which I knew I couldn't. I'm not a great Instagrammer. I'm a great real person guy. So if my Instagramming skills aren't up to par, then all of a sudden I come across not great just because I don't know how to work the Instagram app. I just wasn't really willing to take that risk, and in New York City and sort of in my niche group of people, it doesn't really matter. And I know that sounds strange, but truth be told, in New York City, you being Instagram famous doesn't matter. No one gives a fuck. And especially in that specific crowd of people. So for me, it didn't matter. I had word of mouth and sort of, you know, everyone knew each other, so that was cool. It didn't really affect me much. And it saved me a lot of time. I'm not scrolling. I'm not looking at other people's stuff, or like seeing some guy go to the gym, looking at this girl eat her yogurt. Like it's, you know, it saved me a lot of time. In that sense, I wasn't influenced by outside things on a day-to-day basis. But that really is my main reason. It was because of people getting that idea of you before they've even met you, and I knew I couldn't do it well enough to get me across as well as I wanted to. I hope that makes sense. But that's the main reason. So I deleted it for about 3 years, just got back on it. Of course, I'm with Sirhan now doing real estate on a sort of different scale. And what I'm doing now is just, I feel like it's more authentic. You guys are gonna see all the different forms of me. I'm not really gonna filter anything. I'll be giving you my day-to-day as I've already have, and you'll sort of just follow me through it. And I think this way feels right to me because I'm not hiding anything. I'm not acting like anybody. I'm not trying to be a certain person for you. I am just being me, and I hope that's good. But that's my main reason. I would definitely focus more on real life. If you have a business, if you're starting a business, get your real life situation sorted out first and then expand. You want to have a product that's well done already and then share it. You don't just want to have a platform of sharing with no great product. That's a terrible business plan. So if you want to look a certain way or come across a certain way, then be that way. It's that simple. And if you can't be that way and you aren't that way, then don't act like it. That was my take on social media. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. We got a lot more stuff coming out. Have a good weekend.